Hello there, this is Moira Hutchison, mindset cultivator, energy healer, and owner of Wellness with Moira. I'm thrilled to bring you my new series on managing your mindset. You will learn perspectives, ideas, tips and techniques which are all intended to inspire and show you how you can reach your full potential. Hi there. Have you been seeking success, looking for success, wishing that you could feel more successful, maybe even looking at other people and thinking, how have they done it and how come I'm not? And my idea of what I thought my successful life would be like. Have you been comparing yourself or wondering, criticizing yourself, and having these repeating thoughts of how come I'm not there? I want to talk to you today about mindset. My mission in life is to help people actually create the mindset. It's actually a growth mindset to create your best success, to lead the success in your life. You know, all too often we get stuck in that loop what I was just talking about comparing ourselves to other people. And that creates such a limitation. It's almost like criticizing yourself because you are not measuring up to the outer projection or the outward showing up from somebody else to what's going on inside of you. Inside of you is being created by your mindset. Now, when I talk about mindset, there's a wee bit of a theme or a thread that creates the mindset that you're sitting here with, that you're watching me with. You've got a mindset that's actually either making you lean into what I'm trying to share with you or pull away from and say, I don't resonate with this. That's actually being created by your mindset. Now, it's important to understand that a mindset initially starts with a thought that then gets repeated because then it becomes a habit, and then that habit and that pattern becomes the mindset. So I'd like to ask you, would you say that you have a growth mindset or a limited mindset? So where I'm coming from with that idea is a limited mindset is basically saying, I have everything, I know everything, all of the things that I think and believe are here. I can't learn new things, I can't change the way I am in this life. That's a limited mindset, that I either do it or I don't. I am successful in this job pitch or this healthy goal or this relationship idea or with the way I talk to or about myself. I either get it or I don't. That's the limited mindset. Whereas a growth mindset says, this is maybe how I do it right now, but I can always learn. I can watch how other people do things. I can allow my intuitive nature or my inner wisdom, my insights, my wisdom to bloom, to blossom, and to change in order to create my best success. You see, the thing is success is not necessarily a static point that you reach and say that's it. So if you can adopt the idea of a growth mindset, then you will actually celebrate every experience that you have. So something that some people may call a failure would end up being a gift to you, because you would then learn how not to do something or how something didn't quite sit right for you. And you could then learn something new and create that sort of evolving success in your life. So the other part about that is to always recognize that we are always, I believe we're always on track. We're always on our journey in life. And sometimes we can get derailed, or we can follow that self-sabotage mindset, or that comparing to others, or maybe we align ourselves to a bunch of other people who think this is the way to do it. Have you ever done anything like that? For myself, and I've shared this in other videos that I've done in this series about helping you get clear on the best mindset, there is no prescription here. It's really, really important to step into what's right for you. And this is what I was about to say, is that I shared before about me being in a cult. So there's where being in a cult creates such a limited mindset, because that limited mindset is basically saying there's no point in me pushing the boundaries or stepping out or trying to do something different or learning more about who I could be, because I'm being told who I am. So here's the thing about what I'm saying, is that there is no right or wrong there. I may have felt wrong in that, but the learning of it is immeasurable. And so this is what I'm saying to you, is if you are in a place where you're feeling limited, or you're feeling challenged by your self-sabotage, or you're feeling challenged by a group that you're involved with that people say this is the way things are, or in order to get ahead this is how you have to do it, or people of this level have to work harder, or these people don't have to work very hard to get ahead. Things like that. There are all these different isms that so many of us buy into, and in actual fact, when we buy into something that we don't check and see how does it sit with me, and at one point it may sit okay. So in my story about the cult, when I was first in there, it did sit okay, because they offered me the opportunity to be of service, to help people get clear on what their obstacles and blocks were, and what was maybe their limitations. So you can see right there, that is part of my mission in life. So yes, it did resonate for me, it did sit right. But then it didn't. And this is what I'm encouraging you to feel into with. To me, a growth mindset allows you to adhere to a certain pattern or certain belief system until it does not work anymore. And then a growth mindset allows you to sit in there and see, how does it feel? Does it feel like you're able to align with your calling, with the conversation that's coming from your heart, with your own connection to your higher self? I like to think of that as head, heart, and higher self. So are you listening to the taps on your shoulder, the little nudges, the little synchronicities, the little pull that we sometimes get of, oh, I'd like to read this book, or I'd like to call that person, or I'd like to take that course, or I'd like to learn this skill, or I'd like to go for a walk, or meditate, or fill in the blank. So follow those, because sometimes those little pieces that just land for us is because we have put out a question to our higher self. So in my story about being in a cult, when it became time for me to leave, and leaving was a very traumatic, problematic, upheaval type of experience, but it was almost like there was all of these different synchronicities. And so I felt in my heart that it was time. I had no idea how it was going to happen, but I opened up and I took the first step, and then the next step showed up, and then somebody else helped me do something, and it took quite a while to actually happen. But this is how our own success, this is how you can create your success, is to never beat yourself up for staying in a situation for longer than you think you should, right? You stay there as long as it needs, or as long as you do on your unique journey through this life. and then you take action. So I think my personal belief about this fixed and growth-based mindset is that we can have chapters in our life where we are in one. So in particular, we could, maybe in our younger years, we do adhere to this idea of it's a fixed mindset, right? That I have the skills and the beliefs and the gifts that I have, and that's it. There's no more available to me. And then as we go through life and different things show up, and maybe we even achieve things that we had no idea that was possible for us, that's when we can start stepping into a growth mindset, because it's almost like you prove to yourself that even though I had this limiting belief or this restriction in the past, I then went beyond it. And so therefore, what else is possible? And that's when we start to get into really amazing potential, because the key piece is if you can dream it, or you can visualize it, or even if you can see it in another person, it's possible for you. So just feel into that. Something that you can visualize, or that you can see in another person, or that you can dream up, any of those are possible for you. It's all about cultivating the best growth mindset that allows you to open up even further to that. So that's where you really get to follow the guidance and start to really hear the rhythm of your own calling and when you do that, like I said, it's only doing the next step, the one step that you can that's right in front of you. It doesn't actually serve you at all if you set an intention and say, I'd like to achieve that. I'd like to manifest $1 million. I'd like to create an amazing relationship. I'd like to have a huge business. I'd like to change the world. Whatever it is, if you set it, that's great. And you can go visit that visual and that intention. It's a great thing to do. But don't get lost in overthinking, or thinking that you have to figure everything out. You have to get into the whole how. There's many teachings that say that we don't need to always know exactly how, but we get to claim, that's what I'm wanting. I want to have that beachfront property. I want to have my own show on TV. I intend to share the stage with some big named speaker, or somebody that's a hero of yours. You can name all of those and then let go. You let go. Now, having the mindset that says, I can do everything and anything that my heart desires, we then open ourselves up to a willingness to recognize the signs, to put in motion what it is we're creating, because we always are actually in co-creation, right? So by naming, this is my intention, I intend to live in a beachfront property, for instance. I actually would love to live in a beachfront property. How about you? And so you put that intention there, and then you can go and visit that intention, but then you get into the feeling of that. And that further sparks your mindset, because you can then get into more of a growth mindset piece of, wouldn't it be nice if this happened? Wouldn't it be nice if I manifested this, or learned about that, or had this experience? And so that actually almost puts your entire being, like your higher self and your subconscious, on alert to pay attention to the synchronicities, to then recognize, oh, I need to read that book. Oh, I need to listen to that podcast. Oh, I need to take on this new self-care practice. These are all pieces that help us keep climbing up that scale so that we get to keep experiencing more of who we really are. Because this is the other really big piece about having a growth mindset for success in your life, is that everything's changing, but you are always the constant. So you know how I was saying about at one level of you or one of your intentions is have a beachfront property or make a certain amount of money or have a specific type of business. So there they are. That's your intention. Those versions of you actually exist as soon as you claim it, as soon as you put your visual out there or set your intention. So then you get into the mindset of it's already in existence. I now need to stay open to following the beautiful journey, and it kind of will go like that sometimes. It's a flowing, organic journey that you can then have. It's like choosing to have the felt sense of it now. And by that I mean that, let's say, earning a certain amount of money gives you a feeling of security, or living in a beachfront property helps you feel connected with nature or calm and peaceful. Then you create a mindset that says all of those feelings are right here for me now. I create them right here for me now. Then it's almost like then you're creating that link to that outcome. It's right here. And then that's when you can really follow those impulses, those guidance pieces for you. Because sometimes it'll happen really magically when you get into that idea. Because then it'll just pop. Sometimes somebody will invite you to their beachfront property. Actually, I had a conversation with a client just recently that she was talking about that her and her husband were out for a canoe ride. I live near water. So they were out having a canoe ride, and they were looking at all these beautiful homes that were overlooking the water. And so I had her do this, that let go of, I have to figure out how I can have one of those homes, and just really feel into what would that feel like. So she did that, and the reason I'm sharing this with you is because she got into this growth mindset of, I don't know how that can happen, but I know it's possible for me. And what was beautiful was that somebody that she knows, as a friend of a friend, she was invited to the very same home that they had sailed past in their canoe trip, and was able to walk through it and actually feel what it was like to be in that home. So this is the kind of thing that can happen when we step into this idea of, I don't always have to see what's possible, but my mindset of, I can always learn more, I can always know more, I can always surrender to the flow into me of the wisdom. It's always there for you. It's so important to just tap in to your heart energy, and that is the basic best way to open up to the direction or the navigation that's there, nudging you, tapping you along your journey. I hope this serves you. Let me know if you have any questions about this idea of shifting from a growth mindset or from a fixed mindset into a growth mindset, because that is how to best create success in life, is having a growth mindset. Thank you for watching. I hope this has served you. In the comments below, I have a link for another resource for you, and it's intended to help you deepen that connection with cultivating a mindset that opened you up to what's possible and what is your potential. Thanks for watching. Much love.